Praise the Lord. Welcome to a daily broadcast, the Word of Faith. So we are speaking on be fruitful from the Gospel of John chapter 15 verse 1. Okay. Jesus goes on to say this, I am the true vine and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch that beareth not fruit in me, take it away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he prunes it, that he brings forth more fruit. So, here is speaking about a vine, a vineyard. So, here it says, Jesus is the vine, okay, a vine. We are the branches for the vine. So, for the branch to bear much fruit, if you have seen a rose plant, if you do some cutting, it gives healthy roses. Some trees also, fruit trees also. Why? So the more you cut it, you understand? So all the manure, the nutrients, the supply, everything goes only to this limited thing. It becomes very fruitful. You understand this? So also sometimes God prunes in our life. Notice here something. Is pruning a tree that is bearing fruit, is pruning a tree that is not bearing fruit also. So pruning is for both. Okay, see, look at this. Every branch that beareth fruit, he prunes so that he might bring more fruit. So there is a pruning going on for a tree which is bearing fruit. There is pruning going on for a tree which is not bearing fruit also. Okay, so follow me very carefully. That means sometimes God cuts off some things in our life. Pruning is painful. In a sense, we understand why. Why did God cut off that relationship? Why did God cut off that business? Why did God cut off that contact? You understand? Why did God cut off this supply? You understand? Why did God cut off is so that we can bear more fruit. So pruning at that time, when God cuts off a relationship, when God cuts off a supply, when God cuts off a door which we are dependent on, a person we are dependent on, at that time we will not understand. At that time we cry. At that time say, God, I can't bear it. At that time we say, God, it is painful, it is hurting. But you don't understand. When you go through the process of pruning, you understand? Afterwards, when you come out, you will bear more fruit. You understand? So pruning is for everybody. See, sometimes people don't understand. Even in a ministry also, sometimes God cuts off some things. You understand? People don't understand. They say, Pastor, why is this happening? Why this is happening? Why that is happening? I only understood this. A tree which is bearing fruit, he will cut. A tree which is not bearing fruit also, he will cut. You understand? So when you know that, when you try this, if you have a rose plant, you do some pruning. After that, you see that the plant becomes thick. The stems become thick. And the leaves become life, green. And the flowers it produces, it is very, very good. So that is because of the pruning. But supposing if there's no pruning, if there's no cutting, the tree starts growing. Such a big tree, it takes up all the nutrients from the soil. And it is not sufficient. So the tree is weak. In a sense, it is pale. The roses are not blooming. It is not big. It is not healthy. So also, any fruit trees also, if you cut the fruit trees, are you getting this? Say, if they cut olive trees, it bears good olives. You understand this? So the pruning, we can't avoid or escape the pruning. The pruning is for everybody. The pruning is hurting. The pruning is painful. At that time, sometimes that pruning can be correction. Sometimes that pruning can be discipline. Sometimes that pruning can be closed doors. Sometimes that pruning can be delays. You understand? Sometimes that pruning can be disappointments. So as a Christian, as a child of God, as a believer, we don't like all these things. But let me tell you something, we cannot avoid this because the Lord said it. I am not saying this, the Lord said it. A tree which bears fruit, he prunes. A tree which does not bear fruit also, he prunes. So when I understood this, I said, I cannot run away, I cannot avoid, I cannot escape. I have to yield to the pruning of the Lord. You understand? So He does cut off some relationship, He does cut off some people, He does cut off some dependence, He does cut off some things in our life. So pruning is good. You will bear much fruit. Okay, God bless you. My time is up.